the secret art of telepathic connection between soulmates. What if I told you that someone could be thinking about you right now, feeling your presence, sensing your energy, and hearing the echo of your soul without a single word being spoken? What if the connection between soulmates is so powerful that distance becomes meaningless, time becomes irrelevant, and communication transcends the physical world entirely? Tonight, we are stepping into one of the most fascinating mysteries of human existence, the secret art of telepathic connection between soulmates. There are bonds that logic cannot explain. There are connections that science struggles to measure. Have you ever suddenly thought about someone and moments later received a call or message from them? Have you ever felt an overwhelming emotion that did not seem to belong to you, only to discover that someone you deeply love was experiencing that exact feeling? Have you ever dreamed of a person and then watched those dreams unfold in reality? These are not experiences reserved for a lucky few. They are clues pointing toward a deeper truth. Love may communicate on a level far beyond words. The world teaches us that communication requires speaking, texting, or seeing one another. But soulmates often discover another language, a silent language spoken through energy, emotion, imagination, and consciousness. It is a language that requires no phone, no internet, and no physical presence. It is the language of the soul itself. When two souls are deeply connected, they begin to move in harmony, like two stars connected by an invisible force. Thoughts travel, feelings resonate, intentions are felt, and messages seem to arrive through intuition long before they appear in the physical world. But here is the greatest secret. Telepathic connection is not created by chasing another person. It is awakened by mastering yourself. The stronger your faith, the clearer your mind, and the more aligned your heart becomes with love, the more powerful this connection grows. Doubt weakens the signal. Fear distorts the message. But belief, trust, and emotional alignment create a bridge that allows soulmate energy to flow freely. Today, we will uncover the hidden principles behind this extraordinary phenomenon. We will explore why soulmates seem to feel each other's emotions across great distances, why synchronicities appear when love is near, and how your imagination may be far more powerful than you've ever been taught. Most importantly, you will discover that the deepest telepathic connection does not begin with another person. It begins within you, so open your heart, silence your doubts, and prepare yourself for a journey into a realm where souls speak without voices, hearts communicate without words, and love proves that the strongest connections in life are often the ones we cannot see. Welcome to the secret art of telepathic connection between soulmates. Soulmates communicate beyond words. One of the greatest mysteries of human connection is the experience of feeling deeply understood by someone without needing to explain yourself. Have you ever met a person who seemed to know what you were thinking before you spoke? Someone who could sense your mood, even when your smile convinced everyone else that you were fine. This extraordinary phenomenon is often described as the silent language of soulmates. While the world focuses on communication through words, gestures, and actions, soulmate connections remind us that there may be a deeper level of communication taking place beneath the surface of ordinary life. It is a communication that transcends language, distance, and even physical presence. It is the communication of energy, emotion, and consciousness. The truth is that words are often the weakest form of communication. People can say they are happy while feeling miserable. They can say they are confident while battling fear. They can tell others they are fine while silently struggling inside. Yet despite these masks, there are certain people who seem capable of seeing beyond appearances. Soulmates often share this ability. They connect not merely with what is said, but with what is felt. They tune into the emotional frequency of one another in a way that defies conventional explanation. This is why soulmate connections often feel effortless. There is less need for endless explanations because understanding seems to arise naturally. Imagine two musical instruments tuned to the same note. When one instrument is played, the other begins to vibrate in response, even though it has not been touched directly. In many ways, soulmate connections operate similarly. When two souls are deeply aligned, their emotional and energetic states begin to resonate with one another. A feeling experienced by one can be sensed by the other. A thought held consistently by one may somehow find its way into the awareness of the other. This resonance creates the sensation that communication is occurring beyond words. Many people report experiences that support this idea. They suddenly think about someone they love, only to receive a message from them moments later. They wake up from a vivid dream about a person and discover that something significant happened in that person's life at the same time. They feel unexpected waves of joy, sadness, excitement, or concern without understanding why, only to later learn that their soulmate was experiencing those exact emotions. Whether viewed as coincidence, intuition, or telepathic connection, these experiences are remarkably common among those who share profound emotional bonds. However, understanding this connection requires a shift in perspective. Most people spend their lives focused on the external world. They trust what they can see, hear, touch, and measure. Yet some of the most powerful experiences in life are invisible. Love itself cannot be held in your hands, yet it transforms lives. Trust cannot be seen, yet it builds relationships. Faith cannot be photographed, yet it moves people to achieve extraordinary things. In the same way, the communication between soulmates may not always be visible, but its effects can be deeply felt. One reason soulmate communication feels so powerful is that it often bypasses the conscious mind. The conscious mind is filled with doubts, fears, and logical arguments. It questions everything. But the deeper mind, the part connected to intuition and imagination, operates differently. It receives impressions, feelings, and insights without requiring immediate proof. Soulmates frequently connect through this deeper level of awareness. This is why their communication often arrives as a sudden feeling, a strong intuition, a vivid image, or an unshakable knowing rather than a spoken sentence. Yet there is an important lesson hidden within this understanding. The purpose of soulmate telepathy is not to create obsession or dependency. It is not about constantly wondering whether another person is thinking about you. In fact, the strongest telepathic connections emerge when there is trust rather than desperation. When people become anxious, fearful, or overly attached to outcomes, they create mental noise that interferes with their ability to perceive subtle signals. It is much like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a crowded room. The whisper is still there, but the surrounding noise makes it difficult to recognize. This is why inner peace becomes essential. When your mind is calm and your heart is open, you become more sensitive to intuitive impressions. You begin noticing synchronicities that once seemed random. You become aware of emotions that arrive unexpectedly. You develop greater trust in your inner guidance. And through this process, you discover that communication is not limited to spoken words. There is an entire world of connection happening beneath the surface of ordinary awareness. Ultimately, the secret art of telepathic connection between soulmates begins with recognizing that love speaks a language far older than words. It communicates through feelings, intuition, imagination, and energy. It reaches across distance without needing physical contact. It creates understanding without requiring endless explanations. And while the world may continue debating how such connections occur, those who have experienced them know one thing with certainty. Some bonds are simply too powerful to be confined to ordinary communication. Soulmates remind us that the deepest conversations are often the ones that take place in silence, heart to heart, soul to soul. The power of emotional and vibrational alignment. If telepathic connection between soulmates is the message, then emotional and vibrational alignment is the signal that carries that message. Just as a radio station can only be heard when a receiver is tuned to the correct frequency, soulmate communication becomes clearer when two people are aligned emotionally and energetically. This is one of the most overlooked secrets in understanding deep spiritual connections. Many people focus on external circumstances, wondering when a message will arrive, when a reunion will happen, or when a certain person will make contact. Yet the real power does not begin in the outer world, it begins within. The quality of your emotional state determines the quality of the connection you experience. Everything in life carries a vibration. Every thought has an emotional tone. Every belief generates a feeling. Fear feels different from confidence. Love feels different from anger. Gratitude feels different from disappointment. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly broadcasting these emotional frequencies into the world around us. Soulmates are often described as two souls operating on a similar wavelength. When their emotional states become aligned, the connection feels effortless and natural. When their frequencies are out of sync, misunderstandings, confusion, and emotional distance can appear. Think about moments in your life when you felt completely connected to someone. Chances are those moments were not created through perfect words or flawless circumstances. They were created because both of you were emotionally present. There was harmony, there was openness, there was a shared feeling that allowed understanding to flow freely. Emotional alignment creates a bridge between people, and for soulmates, that bridge can become so strong that it appears to transcend physical limitations. One of the greatest mistakes people make when seeking a deeper connection with a soulmate is focusing entirely on the other person. They constantly ask questions such as, what are they thinking? Do they miss me? Are they feeling what I am feeling? Yet these questions often arise from insecurity and fear. Ironically, those emotional states create resistance within the connection itself. The more desperately someone seeks confirmation, the more they move away from the peaceful state that strengthens intuitive awareness. True alignment begins when attention shifts inward. Instead of trying to control another person's thoughts or feelings, you begin mastering your own emotional world. This is where the power of self-concept becomes essential. Your relationship with yourself influences every connection you experience. If you believe you are worthy of love, appreciated, and valued, you naturally emit a frequency of confidence and security. If you constantly doubt yourself, fear rejection, or feel unworthy, those emotions become part of the signal you broadcast. Soulmate telepathy is not simply about sending thoughts. It is about transmitting emotional energy. The emotions you repeatedly embody become the messages you send into the invisible field of connection. Many people notice that they feel closest to their soulmate when they are experiencing joy, gratitude, and inner peace. During these moments, communication often seems easier. Synchronicities appear more frequently. Intuitive insights become clearer. Unexpected contact may occur. This is not necessarily because the other person suddenly changed. It is often because your own vibration became more harmonious. You became more receptive to the connection that was already present. Another important truth is that emotions carry tremendous creative power. When you imagine a loving conversation with your soulmate and genuinely feel the emotions associated with that experience, you are doing more than daydreaming. You are training your mind and heart to operate on the frequency of connection rather than separation. The subconscious mind responds strongly to emotion. It accepts feelings as evidence. This is why emotional alignment can be far more influential than mechanical repetition of words or affirmations. A single moment of deep emotional certainty can create a stronger energetic impact than hours of empty repetition. However, emotional alignment does not mean pretending to be happy all the time. Authenticity is essential. Every human being experiences challenges, doubts, and difficult emotions. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness. When fear arises, acknowledge it without allowing it to dominate your state of being. When doubt appears, recognize it without making it your identity. Return your focus to the emotions you wish to cultivate. Return to love. Return to trust. Return to confidence. These emotions act as tuning mechanisms that help align your energy with the reality you desire. The most fascinating aspect of soulmate connections is that emotional alignment often creates experiences that feel almost magical. You think of someone and hear from them. You feel their presence before they reach out. You sense their emotions without any logical explanation. While the mechanics behind these experiences may remain a mystery, one principle consistently appears. The strongest connections occur when individuals are emotionally balanced, open-hearted, and aligned with love rather than fear. Ultimately, the power of emotional and vibrational alignment teaches us that soulmate telepathy is not about forcing communication into existence. It is about becoming a match for the connection you seek. It is about cultivating a state of inner harmony so strong that love can flow naturally through you. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs work together in harmony, you become like a perfectly tuned instrument. And when two soulmates are tuned to the same frequency, communication no longer depends solely on words. It becomes a silent exchange of energy, understanding, and love that can be felt across any distance. The connection strengthens not because you chase it, but because you align with it. Imagination as the gateway to soul communication. One of the most profound secrets behind telepathic connection between soulmates is the power of imagination. Most people view imagination as nothing more than fantasy, a mental escape from reality, or a tool reserved for artists, writers, and dreamers. Yet throughout history, some of the greatest spiritual teachers, philosophers, and visionaries have suggested that imagination is far more than a source of entertainment. It is a bridge between the visible and invisible worlds. It is the faculty through which possibilities are formed, realities are shaped, and connections are experienced before they appear in physical form. When it comes to soulmate telepathy, imagination may be one of the most powerful tools available to the human mind. Consider for a moment how every meaningful achievement begins. Before a building exists, it exists in the architect's imagination. Before a song is heard, it exists in the musician's imagination. Before a journey is taken, it exists in the traveler's imagination. The unseen always precedes the seen. In the same way, many people who share deep soulmate connections discover that communication often begins internally before it manifests externally. They imagine conversations, feel the presence of their soulmate, or sense a connection long before any physical evidence appears. What seems like imagination may actually be tuning their awareness to a deeper level of connection. The remarkable thing about imagination is that the mind often responds to imagined experiences in much the same way it responds to real ones. Think about a time when you remembered an embarrassing moment from your past. Your body may have reacted instantly. Your heart rate may have changed. Your emotions may have resurfaced even though the event itself was long gone. This demonstrates a powerful truth. The mind does not always distinguish sharply between vividly imagined experiences and physical experiences. The emotions generated through imagination are real. The feelings created are real. And those feelings become energetic signals that influence your state of being. When soulmates consciously use imagination, they are not attempting to force another person to think a certain way. Instead, they are entering a state where connection feels natural and alive. They imagine loving conversations, harmonious interactions, joyful reunions, and mutual understanding. They allow themselves to experience the emotions associated with these scenarios as if they are happening now. This practice is powerful because it shifts attention away from separation and toward connection. It moves the mind from asking, "Where are they?" to feeling, "We are already connected." One of the reasons imagination is so effective is that it bypasses many of the limitations imposed by the conscious mind. The conscious mind is analytical and often skeptical. It constantly evaluates circumstances, searches for evidence, and focuses on current conditions. Imagination operates differently. It explores possibilities without demanding immediate proof. It allows individuals to experience realities that have not yet appeared physically. In doing so, it opens the door to deeper intuition and emotional alignment. Many people who report telepathic experiences with soulmates describe receiving insights during moments of imagination, meditation, or quiet reflection. They may suddenly hear a phrase in their mind that feels as though it came from another person. They may envision a scene that later unfolds in reality. They may feel overwhelming emotions during visualization that seem connected to someone they love. While these experiences cannot always be explained logically, they often leave a lasting impression because they feel deeply authentic. However, there is an important distinction between empowered imagination and anxious fantasy. Empowered imagination creates feelings of peace, confidence, and certainty. Anxious fantasy is driven by fear, worry, and desperation. One expands awareness, while the other reinforces insecurity. If a person spends hours imagining negative outcomes, rejection, or abandonment, they are strengthening emotional patterns of fear rather than connection. The quality of imagination matters just as much as the act itself. Imagination becomes a gateway to soul communication when it is guided by love, trust, and emotional balance. Another fascinating aspect of imagination is its ability to dissolve the illusion of distance. Physical separation may exist in the material world, but imagination allows the mind to move freely beyond those limitations. You can instantly recall some songs, hear their voice in your memory, and experience emotions associated with them, regardless of where they are. This demonstrates that consciousness is not confined by physical proximity in the way we often assume. Soulmate connections frequently feel timeless and spaceless because they operate through awareness rather than geography. The practice of intentional imagination also helps strengthen self-belief. As individuals repeatedly experience loving, harmonious scenarios internally, they begin to develop greater confidence in the possibility of those experiences externally. Their emotional state changes, their expectations shift, their energy becomes more aligned with connection rather than separation. They stop waiting for proof and start embodying the feelings they wish to experience. This transformation often leads to increased intuition, greater emotional stability, and a stronger sense of trust in the connection itself. Ultimately, imagination is far more than a mental exercise. It is a creative force that allows us to explore realities beyond immediate appearances. In the context of soulmate telepathy, it serves as a gateway through which deeper communication may occur. It enables us to feel connected before we see evidence, to experience love before it manifests physically, and to strengthen bonds that exist beyond ordinary perception. The secret is not to use imagination as an escape from reality, but as a tool for aligning with a greater reality, one in which soulmates are connected not merely through words or circumstances, but through consciousness itself. When imagination is guided by faith, love, and emotional clarity, it becomes a doorway through which the silent conversation of the soul can be heard. Signs that a telepathic connection is happening. One of the most exciting aspects of a soulmate connection is recognizing the signs that telepathic communication may already be taking place. Many people spend years searching for proof that they share a deeper bond with someone, often overlooking the subtle ways that connection reveals itself. Telepathic communication rarely arrives as a loud announcement. It is usually gentle, unexpected, and deeply personal. It appears through intuition, emotions, dreams, synchronicities, and moments of knowing that seem impossible to explain through logic alone. While skeptics may call these experiences coincidences, those who have experienced them firsthand often describe them as undeniable reminders that there is more to human connection than meets the eye. One of the most common signs of telepathic connection is the sudden appearance of someone's thoughts in your mind without any obvious reason. You may be focused on your daily activities when a particular person suddenly enters your awareness with unusual intensity. Their image, voice, or memory appears so vividly that it feels different from ordinary thinking. Then, hours later, or perhaps even minutes later, they contact you unexpectedly. Many people report these experiences so frequently that they begin to trust them. It feels as though an invisible signal was received before physical communication occurred. Whether viewed as intuition or telepathy, these moments create a sense that minds can connect beyond traditional channels. Another powerful sign is the experience of unexplained emotions. Have you ever felt a wave of sadness, excitement, peace, or anxiety that seemed to appear from nowhere? Sometimes these emotions have no apparent connection to your circumstances. Later, you may discover that someone you deeply care about was experiencing those exact feelings during the same period. Soulmates often describe this emotional mirroring as one of the strongest indicators of their bond. Because they are emotionally attuned to one another, they may unconsciously pick up on energetic shifts occurring in the other person's life. This does not mean they feel every emotion perfectly, but there are moments when the connection becomes remarkably clear. Dreams also play a significant role in reports of telepathic soulmate communication. Throughout history, dreams have been viewed as gateways to deeper levels of consciousness. Many individuals experience vivid dreams involving their soulmate that feel extraordinarily real. These dreams often contain meaningful conversations, emotional exchanges, or symbolic messages. What makes them particularly memorable is the feeling that remains after waking. Unlike ordinary dreams that fade quickly, soulmate dreams tend to linger in the mind and heart. Some people even report dreaming of events that later occur in reality, further strengthening their belief that the connection extends beyond the physical world. Synchronicities are another fascinating sign. Synchronicities are meaningful coincidences that seem too perfectly timed to be random. You might hear a song that reminds you of someone moments before they reach out. You might repeatedly encounter their name in unexpected places. Certain numbers, symbols, locations, or phrases may appear with unusual frequency whenever you are thinking about them. These experiences create the impression that life itself is participating in the connection. While each individual synchronicity may appear insignificant on its own, the repeated pattern often feels impossible to ignore. A particularly powerful sign is the sensation of someone's presence when they are not physically nearby. Many people describe moments when they suddenly feel as though their soulmate is with them. They may sense their energy, hear their voice internally, or feel comforted by an invisible presence. These experiences often occur during quiet moments, meditation, or periods of deep reflection. While they cannot always be verified externally, they leave a profound emotional impact because they feel genuine and unmistakable. Another indication of telepathic connection is heightened intuition regarding the other person. You may know when they are about to contact you, sense when something important is happening in their life, or feel drawn to reach out at precisely the right moment. These intuitive insights often arrive without logical reasoning. They simply appear as a feeling, a knowing, or an inner certainty. Over time, repeated experiences of accurate intuition can strengthen confidence in the connection and encourage greater trust in one's inner guidance. However, it is important to approach these signs with balance and wisdom. Not every thought, dream, or coincidence is necessarily evidence of telepathy. The human mind naturally seeks patterns and meaning. This is why emotional stability and self-awareness are essential. The goal is not to become obsessed with interpreting every event as a message. Instead, it is to remain open, observant, and grounded. True telepathic connection tends to feel peaceful rather than desperate, natural rather than forced, and reassuring rather than overwhelming. One of the greatest mistakes people make is chasing signs instead of cultivating connection. They become so focused on finding proof that they overlook the deeper lesson. Signs are not the connection itself, they are reflections of it. The true foundation of soulmate telepathy lies in emotional alignment, trust, self-awareness, and love. The more balanced and centered you become, the easier it is to recognize meaningful experiences without becoming consumed by them. Ultimately, the signs of telepathic connection serve as gentle reminders that human relationships may operate on levels far beyond ordinary communication. Sudden thoughts, unexplained emotions, vivid dreams, meaningful synchronicities, intuitive insights, and the feeling of someone's presence all point toward a fascinating possibility that soulmates are connected through an invisible bond that transcends distance and circumstance. Whether one views these experiences spiritually, psychologically, or energetically, they invite us to expand our understanding of love and connection. They remind us that some of the most profound conversations in life may occur not through spoken words, but through the silent language of the soul, trusting the invisible connection without attachment. Perhaps the greatest lesson in the secret art of telepathic connection between soulmates is learning how to trust the connection without becoming attached to outcomes. This is where many people struggle. They may experience signs, synchronicities, intuitive feelings, vivid dreams, or moments of profound emotional resonance. Yet instead of allowing these experiences to strengthen their faith, they become consumed by questions. They begin wondering when the relationship will manifest, when the next message will arrive, or whether the other person feels exactly the same way. What starts as a beautiful connection can quickly become clouded by fear, anxiety, and emotional dependence. The final and most important secret of soulmate telepathy is understanding that true connection flourishes in trust and weakens in attachment. Attachment is often misunderstood. Many people believe attachment is the same thing as love, but they are very different energies. Love is expansive, peaceful, and freeing. Attachment is fearful, controlling, and dependent. Love says, I trust what is meant for me. Attachment says, I need this to happen right now in order to feel complete. Love creates space. Attachment creates pressure. When individuals become attached to specific outcomes, they unknowingly fill their minds with worry, doubt, and resistance. Instead of enjoying the connection, they begin monitoring it. Instead of feeling love, they begin searching for evidence. This shift in focus often creates emotional turbulence that interferes with their ability to perceive the connection clearly. Imagine holding a handful of water. If you keep your hand open and relaxed, the water remains. But if you squeeze your hand tightly, the water slips through your fingers. Relationships often operate in the same way. The harder people try to force, control, or possess a connection, the more tension they create. Telepathic connection thrives in openness. It grows when individuals trust the process rather than attempting to manage every detail. Soulmates are not brought together through fear. They are drawn together through alignment, trust, and emotional harmony. One reason trust is so powerful is that it changes your emotional state. When you trust, your nervous system relaxes, your thoughts become calmer, your emotions become more balanced. You stop searching desperately for confirmation because you already feel secure within yourself. This state of inner peace allows intuition to function more effectively. It becomes easier to recognize genuine insights because your mind is no longer overwhelmed by fear-driven thoughts. Trust acts like a clear sky through which intuitive guidance can shine. Many people mistakenly believe that trusting the connection means doing nothing. In reality, trust is an active state of consciousness. It requires discipline. It means choosing faith over fear repeatedly. It means refusing to allow temporary circumstances to dictate your emotional well-being. It means understanding that physical appearances do not always reflect deeper realities. A period of silence does not necessarily mean disconnection. Physical distance does not necessarily mean separation. Delays do not necessarily mean denial. Trust allows you to hold your vision without becoming emotionally dependent on immediate results. Another important aspect of trusting the invisible connection is learning to trust yourself. Often, people place all their attention on another person while neglecting their own growth and happiness. They believe that fulfillment exists somewhere outside themselves. Yet soulmate journeys frequently teach the opposite lesson. They encourage individuals to develop self-love, confidence, emotional independence, and inner strength. The stronger your relationship with yourself becomes, the healthier your relationship with another person can be. Telepathic connection is not meant to replace self-worth. It is meant to complement it. This is why personal growth often accelerates during soulmate experiences. Challenges arise not to punish but to transform. Periods of uncertainty teach patience. Moments of silence teach self-trust. Emotional triggers reveal areas that need healing. Every stage of the journey serves a purpose. When viewed through this lens, even difficulties become opportunities for expansion. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what is this teaching me? This shift transforms the entire experience. Trust also means releasing the need to understand every detail. Human beings naturally seek certainty. We want explanations, timelines, and guarantees. Yet some of life's most meaningful experiences unfold without providing those things. Friendship, love, creativity, faith, and intuition all require a willingness to embrace uncertainty. Soulmate telepathy is no different. You may never fully understand how certain thoughts appeared, why specific synchronicities occurred, or how certain emotions were shared across distance. But you do not need complete understanding in order to benefit from the experience. Sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from accepting mystery rather than trying to solve it. When individuals truly trust the connection, they begin to enjoy life again. They stop placing their happiness on hold. They pursue their goals, nurture their passions, and cultivate gratitude for the present moment. Ironically, this is often when the connection feels strongest. By releasing obsession, they create space for natural flow. By letting go of desperation, they become more aligned with the energy of love. They discover that peace itself is a powerful form of attraction. Ultimately, the secret art of telepathic connection between soulmates reaches its highest expression through trust without attachment. It is the ability to feel connected without needing constant proof. It is the courage to believe in love without demanding guarantees. It is the wisdom to honor the bond while continuing to grow as an individual. True soulmate connection is not built on fear of loss, but on confidence in what is meant to be. When you trust the invisible connection, you stop chasing signs and start embodying certainty. You stop seeking validation and start living from faith. And in that state of inner peace, you discover the deepest truth of all. The strongest connections do not need to be forced, controlled, or constantly confirmed. They simply are. And when love is real, it finds its way naturally, perfectly, and in its own divine timing.